Hi there, it's me, Stephen Thomas, with Reports on Housing with another housing debrief. First, I'd like to invite everybody to, push that like button. Just tap it. Tap it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We just want to get this in front of as many people as possible, and the only way to do that is by people liking it, subscribing it, and viewing it. So this week we're going to talk about the evolving real estate trends. Now, National Association of Realtors came out with an article, absolutely loved it, and it highlighted many things that we should probably focus on, kind of like regroup right now. Where are we at, and what are the trends to watch right now as far as the United States housing market is concerned? It's also how it is faring out in California, Bay Area, Southern California, where we go, Phoenix, Vegas, Sacramento Valley. It's all the same across the United States. It's very, very similar. There are only a few exceptions across the United States. So let's get right into it. And here are some evolving real estate trends. And this is the number one trend. I found this absolutely fascinating. Of course, from National Association of Realtors, they have collected a lot of data, and they parse through it and have a big economics department over there. And from 1981 to 2021, buyers on average moved between 10 to 15 miles. Over the last year, it has now jumped to 50 miles. 25% of all buyers are moving more than 470 miles. Now, everybody had the impression that it's just Californians that are leaving, but pretty much across the board, we're seeing that there's a lot more movement. And a lot of this has to do with people feel like they can move someplace else and take advantage of, they can work anywhere they want. They like the working from home model, and not everybody can do it, but there's a lot of people that are saying that this is what they want. It kind of changed everything once we went into COVID, and coming out of COVID, it's kind of like reshuffled the deck and made people think, what do I want to do long term? Where do I want to live? The number two trend that we're talking about is the number of cash buyers. There are actually 26% of all sales are cash buyers. But you have to understand, we're also doing fewer transactions, and so they're a bigger piece of the overall puzzle. As are new homes. You hear how new homes is such a big giant. There's so many new homes that are being purchased right now. Well, we're doing fewer transactions, and as a result, cash, which they don't rely on loans. They can purchase all cash. They don't really, when interest rates go up or down, it doesn't affect people that are paying all cash. So as a result, they are there's still a fewer cash sales, but as a percentage, it's way up. It's up to 26% of all home sales are cash buyers. First time buyers find it extremely hard to compete with these people with all cash. And not funny thing, but baby boomers make up a big portion of the buyer pool, and they have a lot of cash because they can sell their homes, cash out of it. A lot of them own them free and clear or have a giant amount of equity. And if they downsize, they are paying all cash. So when you compete against cash and first-time home buyers that have little down payments, a lot of times, unfortunately, cash wins. So I hope everybody out there is trying to do something for those first-time home buyers and allow them to qualify and purchase as well and compete. So brings us to the third trend. The third trend is, once again, first-time home buyers, but their median age is 36 years old. So 36 years old means that the median time, first-time home buyers, they were younger before, and they're getting older as for the median first-time home buyer. So what that means is that a lot of first-time home buyers are having a harder time purchasing, and they're also getting married later. They're having babies and families later. So as a result, that would be part of this natural median age of first-time home buyers going up. That's part of it, but the other part of it is when they're constantly getting squeezed out, and they've had a hard go for the last several years since we went into the pandemic. there have been more buyers looking than there have been available homes. And typically, the ones with most cash or the biggest down payments or the best credit that have been around for a long time, which are typically older buyers, they've been winning. So first-time home buyers, as a result, this age has been going up for all of those myriad of reasons. The number 4 trend is, you know what? The home values have been going up, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon, regardless of what you're hearing out there and all the noise. So this is the United States, and this is according to Freddie Mac's Housing Price Index. The Case-Shiller does their home price index. They're a month further behind, so they're more delayed. So that's why I don't really follow them as much, but I do follow the statistic. There's also Black Knight and a myriad number of home price indexes. I like to follow Freddie Mac House Price Index, and it's very similar to what they all are showing right now, is that values are up. As a matter of fact, values across the United States are up 2% year over year. They're up 1.2% month over month, and it bottomed last December. What's happened since December? Well, you can understand that when we had interest rates soaring from 3.25% all the way up to where they're kind of at today, that giant disruption as a result put the skids on the whole entire market. We had available number of homes going up, and it was unaffordability was the what everybody was talking about, along with where rates going or continue to go up. Buyers really hesitant to purchase, and they were hesitant to pay because they didn't know where the market was going to go from where when rates started to go up. So in 2022, for several months, and you could see this, that's the green was 2022, and you could see for 6 months for the second half of the year, values went down. And ever since January, every single month, values have been going up. Now, the way that it works, these kind of look like Himalayas, but the way that it appears that it's going to continue to go is we're going to have values go up. They won't go up as much because the spring and summer are pretty much done, and then we'll go off into the fall and the holidays, and it comes down a little bit, and then we start off the next year, and it starts to rise again. And that is the way that everything is looking right now. Now, as far as California is concerned, it's up 0% year over year, which means that what we saw last year is pretty much what we saw right now today. But this was down. This was negative for a while. It's up 1.4% month over month. For California, it bottomed in January. We also follow Southern California markets. Southern California markets, they bottomed back in December. Now, California as a whole bottomed in January, and you can see it right here. This is on a monthly basis, and you can see what it looks like year over year. And there were 7 months where it went down, and so far it's been 6 months where it's been going up. And it looks like it also is going to continue based upon where supply and demand currently are at. And it all has everything to do with scarcity. There is such a scarcity of the number of homes available that it's really created a problem. There's just not enough homes for the buyers that are out there. And some people think that there's a ton of buyer demand that's out there. That's not really what it is. What it is the same buyers are, if they're looking for a property in a city, there aren't that many homes available in that city within their price range. One comes on, and then they get 10 offers. Well, only one person gets it. 9 have to go back to the drawing board. The next property comes on, those 9 go back. So it feels like, man, there's so many buyers that are out there, but it's the same buyers that are bumping into each other. This is not like a giant frenzy where there's a gazillion buyers out there that just can't find a home because of where prices are at and where affordability is at. But scarcity is ruling the day. Scarcity is trumping the problem that we have in affordability. And let's get into the 5th trend. And the 5th trend is that mortgage rates will remain higher for longer. And we're all realizing that right now today, that is pretty much what's going to happen. That is not. Economists have updated their projections continuously, and I kind of want to go over that. And this is Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae their projections. I'm showing you what they were in April for a reason, because they thought that by the time we got to the end of this year, actually right now, the third quarter of the year, we were to have interest rates right at 5.9%, and at the end of the year, 5.7%. They've updated this every single month since then. And the most recent one that came out was for July. They haven't done the August one yet. That's coming. But this is for July, and you can see much different. They're saying 6.8% for 2023 and 6.6% for 2023 third quarter. Fourth quarter is 6.6%. And you can see for 2024, they're projecting that we do not get to 6% until the third quarter, which is a year from now. And in the fourth quarter of 2024, finally dipping below 5.9%. And the National Association of Realtors, they thought that, and this was as of December of last year, they thought that we would be drilling down in mortgage rates until we got to the third quarter, 5.9%, which is where we're at right now, and 5.7% by the end of the year. Well, Lawrence Yun did a updated forecast a week ago, and he's the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. And what he said was that the 30-year fixed rate will average 6% in 2024. Which means that at the start, it's going to be a little bit higher, but by the time you get to the end of the year, it'll be below 6%, so it averages 6% for the year. So that's where NAR is now seeing things change when they look into their crystal ball. And this I found interesting. I don't have an update for it, but this is the mortgage rate projection for the Mortgage Banker Association. And they thought by the time we got to right now, we should be at 5.7%, and at the end of the year at 5.3%. I can tell you right now that is 100% not happening. And really, forecasting where mortgage rates are going to be is a really humbling process. It's not something where it's very accurate. Somebody was kidding with me and saying it's like predicting the weather. Their forecasts are good for about 7 to 10 days. And pretty much just in the realm of interest rates, nobody really knows exactly where interest rates are going to be. Nobody knows how quickly inflation's coming down, why there's been such a change in the short-term rate. Has it not slowed the economy much at all? We actually had a couple reports over last week that came out that are economic reports that are a bit too strong. CPI, Consumer Price Index, is a lot better. But you know what? If you want to know exactly where mortgage rates are going to be, I don't know. I used to say grab a beer and throw darts. And that's when you can figure out exactly when we're going to have mortgage rates that dip a little bit lower. Somebody just asked me today, because interest rates are so high, when is this going to end the madness of the higher rates? Because higher rates is not helping anybody. Buyers are having a hard time purchasing. There aren't that many homes available because everybody's are enjoying such low rates. And as a result, if there are not that many sellers that are coming on and not that many buyers, not that many transactions, everybody within the real estate industry is hurting. Homeowners can't move. I've heard some people say boo-hoo that they can't move, but at the end of the day, a lot of people would like to move for various reasons, but just feel that they can't because of the high mortgage rates that they have. So, and this will continue, and we'll be dancing between 6.5% and 7.5% until we have a softening in the overall United States economy. Some economic readings that start to come down, where we see that the job openings go down, unemployment goes up, and consumer spending goes down, inflation comes down. Inflation's actually coming down, but it's everything else in the economy that isn't behaving like everybody thought it would by now. So as a result, we have these interest rates that are higher for longer. When they come down, who knows? But for right now, we're going to be dealing with interest rates between, right now it's at a real high, and that has a lot to do with the credit rating that happened last week. where the United States credit rating was changed from AAA to AA plus, which is still really strong at the end of the day, but it's also came with a big issuance of long-term debt on last Thursday, and that didn't go so well. So a combination of so many different things at the same time, and that's why we are where we are at today. We'll just patiently watch for interest rates to come down. When is it going to happen? I don't know. So the number 6 trend is, hey, you know what? First, I wanted to get into our sponsor, and he's back, a reverse mortgage specialist. If you don't know what a reverse mortgage is, it is an excellent way to purchase a home and not have a mortgage payment. Senior Financial Group, Inc., they specialize in reverse mortgages, and it's Kevin Kaltenbach, Senior Financial Group, Inc., reverse mortgage specialist, 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. And really, at the end of the day, the reverse mortgage for purchase loans, they can be used so that your senior homeowners can sell their current residence and use the equity to buy their next primary residence in one transaction with no monthly mortgage payment. So it's kind of like you're able to purchase and utilize the equity in your house. And the reverse mortgages have this bad rap because of the way that they were done back in the day, and it isn't done like that anymore. These are backed by the government, and there were a lot of great changes that came into place, and Kevin knows his stuff. Senior Financial Group, Inc., specializing in reverse mortgages since 2001. He's a director of Orange County Realtors. He's very, very involved. So contact Kevin Kaltenbach at Senior Financial Group, Inc., 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. Thank you, Kevin, for your continued sponsorship. And now we're back to the 6th trend, and that is, for Pete's sake, the supply catastrophe is the absolute number 1 problem that we have in housing across the United States and Southern California and the Bay Area, and every other market that we are tracking is having an issue with not enough homes on the market. And you can see it here. This is the United States total housing inventory, and in 2008, there were 4 million homes that were on the market, and then after the Great Recession, it drilled down to, around 2.25 million homes on the market. And then as the years progressed, it got fewer and fewer, under 2 million for 2017, 18, and 19. And then COVID happened, and everything dropped. And we haven't been able to build an inventory since. We are at a little over 1 million homes across the United States, and we're about to peak out. And this is Altos Research. They put this together on a weekly basis, and there are only 492,000 detached properties across the United States that are available. And where should we be? Way higher. You could see right here, the blue line where that blue line was 2019. We should be at close to 1 million homes on the market, and we have it's less than half. So and there aren't that many homes on the market compared to even where we started the year. Normally, this looks like a normal hill, like that blue line up above, and instead, right now at 492,000, there are fewer homes on today than there were at the beginning of the year. That is an issue, and we're about to peak probably in September. In some markets, we've already seen some peaks, San Diego County, and there are other markets that are starting to knock on the door of a normal peak. And some people think that there's going to be a peak that's going to be later on because interest rates are so high. I'm here to tell you that interest rates have not changed that much since about May. They've gone from about 6.8% to where they are today, around 7.25%. And yes, that could slow demand down a little bit, but it also will prevent more homes from coming on the market. So it'll kind of be a wash. In 2013 and 2018, we had a big giant change in the number of homes, in interest rates. And as a result, inventory increased a lot. And we had a late peak to those housing markets that occurred in the late fall, almost towards Thanksgiving. And 2022 is setting up to be the same thing. Actually, we saw inventory grow like crazy last year, but it actually stopped at a normal time because interest rates were getting so high that then we developed that problem of homeowners not coming on the market. And people think that interest rates, if they go up right now, that we're going to add the inventory and we're going to peak later. That is not what we're seeing. The initial shock of interest rates going from where they were really juicy to where they are really not that great, that was last year. This year, they're not that great, period. And they continue to be not that great. Eventually, they'll come down when the economy slows a bit, but it's not here yet. And as a result, what we're seeing is that the big trend and the biggest culprit to the supply catastrophe is the number of homes that are coming on the market because people are enjoying their rates and staying in their homes, even if they're living on the porch all the time. 87% of all Californians, and this is a little bit better than the rest of the United States, but you guys get the gist. It's like this for the rest of the United States. Just about, I think it's 82% for have interest rates at 5% or lower. When interest rates are at 7.25%, that's too big of a disparity compared to where people are locked in with these great, wonderful, beautiful interest rates they're enjoying on a monthly basis. 87% have an interest rate at 5% or lower. It drills down to 30% have an interest rate at 3% or lower. You can imagine a lot of these people are not going to sell, and there's a lot of people with cash. But cash people, they can move because they have cash and they can move. So Southern California new listings on a monthly basis, you could see in 2020, that was the initial COVID lockdown, there were missing 25,000 homes by the end of the year. That should have come on the market, that didn't compared to normal years. In 2022, and it's almost within 1% or 2% of the same number of homes that come on the market on a annual basis. 2022 is down 19%. Compared to that 3-year average prior to COVID, 2017, 18, and 19, that's 51,000 missing for sell signs. In 2023, January through July, missing 41% or 70,000 for sale signs, and that's just the first 7 months of the year. There's still 5 more months that we have to put together. So, and then let's talk about the 7th trend that we are following. And this is one that just kind of like I have to bring up because it kind of chaps my hide. And that what it is the doom and gloom is way overblown. NAR talked about it, and I totally agree. The headlines that are out there are so negative all the time, and there's a reason for it. Because negative news absolutely sells. And if you don't believe me, here's my housing debrief titles. I actually know which ones I get the most clicks on. And these are the titles, the top 10 reports that I've ever put together on YouTube. And the number one is housing crash in 2022. Second, housing crisis to start 2022. Housing is shifting. A V-shaped recovery, probably the only positive one. Housing red flag warning, foreclosures coming. Housing stopped slowing. As housing slows, when will prices drop? Housing buyers market in housing buyers market in 2022. You get the gist. Most of them are negative. There are very few that eke out a lot of clicks when they are positive. Kind of like this one, talking about all these trends. And you think I'd get a whole bunch of views because you'd want to know what the trends are if you're in the market for looking for a house or selling a house, but that's not what does it. It's the negative stuff that people click on because they're so terrified of what's going to go on. Speaking of terrified, there it is. Terrifying outcome, crash of 2023. These are all crash YouTubers, and they talk about crash. They've been talking about crash for years, and I'm going to talk about one of the YouTubers, Nick Gurley, because he's the number one guy that talks about crash all the time. He's been talking about it for a long time. The upper left was October of 2020, and then right around that time, Blue State housing crash. And then more recently, 5 months ago, 40% crash. You can see how he started off with 2,800 views, got to 16,000 views. Now he has anywhere from 250,000 views per YouTube video to he has one that's over 1 million YouTube clicks. And they're all negative headlines. There are no positive headlines at all here. And October of 2020, what he said was, these are the markets that are going to tank. Vegas, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Los Angeles, Riverside, Houston, San Antonio, Nashville, San Jose. I track Los Angeles personally and Vegas, and I know for a fact he couldn't be more wrong. What's happened since then is we've actually had values that have gone up like over 32%. Don't have the exact right in front of me, but what it is if you purchased a home back in October of 2020 for $300,000, today's dollars, that home would be worth $400,000. So if you took Nick's advice, you just lost $100,000 in equity on just a $300,000 home. And I don't say just, but I'm living and breathing here in Southern California and track the Bay Area. A $500,000 home, $667,000 today. $800,000 in October 2020, $1,068,000 is what it's worth today. So you get the picture. If you were listening to all these negative headlines, you blew it. And unfortunately, there's so much negativity out there, you have to cipher through everything and figure out who is telling the truth. And it's got to be somebody that is talking about the market and understands it and is a housing analyst. I'm not the only housing analyst out there, but there are not a ton of us that are out there. I'm not a cheerleader for housing. Call it like it is. The current market is unhealthy. I wish there was a lot more homes available, and I wish we were doing a lot more transactions. But nonetheless, the overall market is strong because of the scarcity of homes. If you want a copy of this thing, you know what? Why don't you subscribe to our housing report? We'll automatically send you a copy of these presentations every time afterwards, a PDF version of it. Go to reportsonhousing.com and click on subscribe. You'll get the most recent one. It's a cool summer. Orange County, LA, and San Diego will be getting a new one this coming up week. And if you want a free month, go to reportsonhousing.com and utilize the coupon code TRENDS. Trends will get you a free month. And please, you know what? You can go wherever you want to listen to podcasts. We're all over the place. It's Let's Talk Housing with Reports on Housing, myself and Brennan Thomas, my son who graduated from Washington State University. We go back and forth in a dialogue, talk housing, lots of fun. We're going to be doing another one tomorrow that will be released next week. It'll be our third one. This is what happens when you bring somebody young on. They go, Dad, why aren't you doing for Pete's sake, why aren't you doing a podcast? And that's what we're doing now. So I want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for staying tuned in to these things. And I just, you know what, if you want the good facts and solid data, come to us. We're constantly looking at it. Does it mean that we know exactly where interest rates are going to go down in the future? No, we don't. You know what? I now changed it from drinking beer and trying to figure it out to I now go to church and say, hey, you know what? Let's have these rates come down. It'll be a good thing for anybody that's tied to housing, including homeowners, including buyers that are looking for properties. That's the only fix to this thing. Jacking up interest rates any higher is not going to be the fix. So, but we'll be continuing to bring you the play-by-play. I hope you have a fantastic finish to your week, and we will see you on the other side.